train to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilkins, presented by georgiaconstructioncareers.com. We got another jam-packed show today. Featured today will be Portal Panthers head coach. Can't wait to talk to him. We had a stellar season last year. They went 8-4, and they were able to make a nice playoff run. So we're going to talk to him about the team this year, and then obviously we'll talk about some of the top headlines on the final segment of the show, and then we'll get into a couple film breakdowns of Beedjy Guerrier from North Cobb Christian, and then Aviyon Addison from Brunswick. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on our guest. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Anytime I get the opportunity to talk about our student athletes and what a great place Portal is, I'm all in. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Certainly, Coach. And speaking of that, that's kind of where I want to start with you. Just talk a little bit about, Portal football or just, the community in general. I remember catching up with you at the Georgia League Classic a little bit in Rome when we were kind of having our conversations. But just tell me a little bit about what Portal football is kind of like. How is ball down there?
I tell you, man, it's the lowest classification of football in the state of Georgia. So just like every situation, it has its own challenges. But the great thing about it is the family-like atmosphere in such a small town. I mean, I know a lot of people throw that around that we're like a big family, but here it's very true. Everyone knows everyone. They know their kids. They don't mind pitching and helping out, taking care of one another's children, and they don't mind helping keep them in line. And that's one of the great things about this place, and the support from the community and the administration. And it's really just a really good place to be. And I got my kids in school here. They love it here. My wife teaches down in the elementary school out here in Portal. She loves her job. So we're all happy and hope to be here for a long time. But the football here is actually good football. I mean, there's some established programs that we play on a yearly basis, and some that just got moved down in our region. But I feel like that even the smallest level of football doesn't mean that it's bad football by any means. And we played a tough schedule last year, and we got another tough one coming up this year. And we're, doing things that we can to prepare for what that season is going to look like.
No doubt about it, Coach. And if you can, just share a little bit about kind of your career path and how you got here to Portal. I believe, just correct me if I'm wrong, this is your first head coaching gig, correct?
What did you say now?
I was going to say, can you just kind of walk us through a little bit about your career path, Coach? I just wanted to confirm with you, this is your first career head coaching job, correct?
Yes, that is true.
Just talk a little bit about that.
I started my coaching career in 2007 at Coffee High School. I was a sub-varsity coach. I was coaching 9th grade football and helping out with varsity on Friday nights. I did that for a couple of years and got moved up to the varsity level and took over the offensive line at Coffee for a few years, worked under Ken Eldridge and Robbie Pruitt. Then I left and went to Swainsboro as the offensive coordinator in 2013 with Ken Eldridge, and also for a year with Mark Stroud, who was at Calvary Day. I went to Toombs County for a year as the offensive coordinator under Rich, and then I went back to Coffee for a second stint and spent 4 more years under Coach Robbie Pruitt. So, and then I was able to get my first head coaching job here at Portal. I've really worked with some fantastic coaches would have a lot of career victories and have done a great job of helping mold men throughout their career. So I was able to learn from some of the best.
No doubt, Coach. And if you can share with just some of the young coaches coming in or guys that want to get to your level and eventually become a head high school coach, what would you just kind of tell them that they got to do to kind of be ready and some challenges they're going to face that year one and kind of creating that culture with a new group?
Yeah, some of the lessons that I had to learn, I thought I was ready. I worked for 14 years before I got a job, and I thought I was ready. But you're never completely ready until you're in the fire and having to go through it. For sure, you have to have some very strong, convictions about things that you're going to allow in your program and things you're not going to allow. Because at the end of the day, how the team and who the student athletes are that are representing you on the field and how they play is a direct reflection of what the head coach either allows or will not stand for. So, have a clear idea of who you are and what you want your team to look like. And then you also have to be willing to have tough conversations and handle tough situations. You can't avoid them as the head coach. They're going to find their way into your lap. And those difficult conversations, whether it be with student athletes, parents, administration, whatever they are, they have to be had, and you have to be willing to have those difficult conversations, to kind of establish your role and your culture and what the expectations are. And then the other thing, that I was not prepared for as a head coach is just how many questions you have to answer or how many problems you have to solve, and that's on a daily basis. From behavior in the classroom, things outside the building, logistics, small program. There's still questions that and come up every day, and you got to have a plan for that. And if you don't have a plan because something come up that you weren't prepared for, you got to be able to figure one out quickly. And it always helps if you have some good assistant coaches and good admin to help you guide through those decisions that you have to make.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then if you can share, Coach, how good of a feeling was last year? You guys, have a banner season. You win a region championship. You go 8-4. Best season since 2005. Coaches, tell me how good of a feeling that was to kind of be able to accomplish that with your group and your team.
I got to be honest with you. That night and that game and how it ended, winning the region championship, that comes up every week still around here multiple times. People talking about the game they saw or something they have of it. And just for me personally, I've been, like I said, this is my 17th year coaching, third as a head coach, and that's the first region championship that I've gotten experience as a coach. So I've been chasing it for a long time too. Be able to do it here, at a place that's never done it. So the program's first month, it was just, definitely a night I'll always remember. And that's one thing that, a lot of coaches, I think, in some programs, they take for granted. Not necessarily, they just don't know how hard it is for some people and the grind it takes to get there and the consistency, just looking for that, that one championship banner that you can hang. But, the town was super fired up. The school was super fired up, and it was great, man. I can flash back to it and remember it like it was yesterday.
Love to see that, Coach. And then, obviously, there's two players I want to hit in on from last year's team that we'll talk about in just a second. But just tell me about kind of the seniors that you had on the team, some of that leadership, just some of those players that stepped up big for you guys to be able to accomplish such a great goal.
But the first three to come to mind, we have three that are going to play college football for this team. We got Amir Jackson, who's going to play at University of Florida, and then back Elijah Coleman is going to play slot receiver at Georgia Military, and then we have another O-line, D-lineman that's going to play tight end at Georgia Military as well. So those three were kind of the bell cows, and like most schools at our level, they all started both ways every Friday night. There was one game early in the year I tried not to start our quarterback, Elijah, on the other side of the ball, and his performance on the offensive side suffered because he wasn't actively involved in the game because that's all he knows. And I said, all right, well, we won't do that again. So he started both ways from there on out. But, it was a big senior group, but not a lot that had actually played football all 4 years. We had some coming off of injuries. We had some that had moved, a couple that had transferred in the year before. But that senior group definitely laid a foundation of just consistency, showing up to work, showing up to practice, and what it takes to kind of be successful on Friday night. And we definitely, there was a lot more to name. I don't want to leave anybody out, but those three were kind of the every Friday night leaders. Senior group, is definitely going to be missed in a lot of ways. But they did, like I said, lay the foundation. We got a bunch of young guys now that are kind of ready to roll into their places on Friday nights.
No doubt, Coach. And then roughly, if you know the number, how many seniors did you graduate last year?
there were 17 total. A couple of those didn't play it down on Friday night. One was coming back from a knee injury the year before, and the other suffered a knee injury in the opening scrimmage. And so total, 15 that dressed throughout the season. I don't know. It's got to be one of the top 3 or 4 biggest senior classes ever at a school this size. You're talking about 300 students total. Roughly 154. We had 50 on the roster last year. So, wow. A third of the boys in our school were playing football last year, which is a great number.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then, obviously I want to kind of dive into, you talked a little bit about each of them, Amir Jackson, obviously Elijah Coleman. They're all state players. Yeah. But from the perspective of work, Coach, you got to see them every single day, right? And now these new programs are going to get to see them. Just tell me a little bit about each one, if you can, Coach. Just enlighten me a little bit individually. What made them so special?
Yeah, and I'll break it down. I don't think
Elijah, he was the quarterback. Elijah's one of the most intelligent, players I've had the opportunity to work with. He picked up concepts and understood what we were trying to do on both sides of the ball extremely quickly. The challenge for us with him was keeping him from getting bored at practice. Some of the stuff he picked up extremely quickly. Other guys took a little bit longer, but we found ways to use that to our advantage. But, he's just a great spatial awareness. He's like a human joystick, extremely hard to bring down. He was a kid that didn't really want to play quarterback, but ended up with, 99 completions last year because, he knew that's what the team needed, and we use that athleticism in that role. But he's just a very intelligent kid and a great competitor. Amir Jackson, he's got the God-given stuff that a lot of them want. He's 6'4", 220-pound receiver, edge, where we played him at this year, who's going to play tight end in Florida. And outside of the athletic talents he had, he's just a very humble, easygoing, respectful young man who just a dang good football player with a big heart. And then Mr. Liam Fordham, he really set the tone every day from a work ethic kind of mindset. He was a vocal leader when he needed to be, but the one thing you could count on out of Liam was just showing up every day, bringing a lunch pail, going to work, no complaint, not wanting out of anything. And then on Friday nights, he would play as hard as he could, as long as he could. We would rest him as little as we could, and then get him right back out there. And starting both ways in the line of scrimmage is a tough task for kids and playing a full game, but he did play as many snaps as he could, I can promise you. And he's just got a great work ethic, great character. And I like to have those guys around because, like you said, they're examples. They led by example. And we point to them all the time and talk about their consistency at practice and how that led to, success on Friday nights.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then I know you mentioned talking about this year's team a little bit. You got some underclassmen that are ready to go. They're hungry. They're ready for the opportunity. So I know you probably got a whole array of people in the team. But tell me some underclassmen you're excited to kind of watch this year that's been kind of impressing you so far.
At the end of the day, though, if you do.
I think when you talk about next year's team, the first young man we got to talk about is Chase Smith. Chase is going to be the only senior in this group that has played football all 4 years here. We had a couple that came out there as sophomores. That was my first year here, was their freshman year, and football was not very high on the priority list for a bunch of young men here at that time. But kind of got the culture going that first year. But Chase is he's a very good baseball player as well as a football player. He's been on some all-state lists as a linebacker. He's like the quarterback of the defense. He helps get everyone lined up. He makes all the calls, understands how the whole defense is supposed to fit together. And he's our Mike linebacker in our odd stack, and he does a great job of just playing inside out and tackling the ball and helping keep everyone else on the same page as well. And he also helps us out on the offensive side in multiple roles. He played a little tight end, a little blocking back, and a little fullback last year. He's a versatile kid that is just intelligent, and I think he's going to have a chance to play college football as well. Some of the other seniors that are returning that I know are going to play a big role. We got Cooper Moats coming back at linebacker. He was an all-region linebacker last year. Just a great, hard-working kid. Got a nose for the football. Samari McBride coming back. He was an all-region receiver, and it was kind of hard to get him decide what position. He started running back for us, started at the receiver spot for us. He actually caught the go-ahead touchdown in the region championship game in overtime. But he's a very talented kid with a big frame. I think he'll have a chance to play college football as well as long as he stays on track. And then Harold Washington is the last senior that's a returning skill player for us. He started in the slot last year, and Harold is best known as a receiver for his blocking ability, which is rare. I mean, it stands out. Now, he's good with the ball. He catches the ball well. But he's a very unselfish kid and is probably the best perimeter blocker that I've ever coached. So we're very proud of, what that represents for our program. The skilled guys will block like he does. And then we got, like you said, we got a long list of other guys underneath them. I don't want to, name a few and leave some out, but like I've been telling these guys, we're coming in as the reigning region champs, and now it's going to be a different perspective for the first time here at Portal. Teams are going to be looking forward to the opportunity to knock us off instead of assuming that's a win on Friday night. So we have to, embrace that, and I think we've got enough guys at enough spots. As long as we stay healthy, that's the key at our level. Depth is the number one issue most of the time. You lose a guy that's a starter, he's probably starting both sides of the ball, or at least on multiple special teams. So, if we stay healthy, we're going to be a tough, physical, hard-to-beat football team again on Friday nights this upcoming fall, and hopefully that turns into enough wins to get us in the playoffs and have us back in the region championship hunt.
No doubt about it, Coach. And then there's a position group I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on, and that is that's quarterback. Obviously, you lose one of your most skilled guys, and Elijah Coleman. I know you had Amir Jackson as well, but how are you looking there? Will it kind of be a quarterback competition, or is that position already kind of solidified for you?
Yeah, well, we got our backup quarterback from last year, Brian McQueen, coming back. He was an all-region defensive back as a sophomore, and he was the backup. And we got him in the games when we could last year to help get him some reps. Brian's got a really strong arm. He'll be in the battle to take over the starting quarterback spot. And then we got a couple other kids we're working. Harold Washington's been working some there. I've got a couple other younger athletes that we're going to work in there, and then kind of see how it goes. And we'll build what we do around their skill set. We like to carry two styles of offensive football here, and we keep it simple, the stuff that they can execute, but we'll have one spread attack that we always going to use. So whoever the quarterback is for that's the best one that can manage that. And then we're still figuring out what the other way, whatever the other option will be, a run-heavy option, whatever that is, whether it's flex bone like we used last year, or some type of wildcat personnel, whatever it is, it'll be more run heavy in case we're struggling at the quarterback position. We'll have a way to move the ball. So there's a few guys that will battle for that position, and whoever's playing the best game one will be the guy that's operating at the quarterback position.
No doubt, Coach. And obviously, I don't want you to go in too much into like the intel and how you run things, but just talk a little bit about that two system that you have. Not everybody does that, having two different offenses, but I think it helps you because you're multiple, you're versatile, and it makes it difficult for defensive coordinators to kind of game plan for you. Just talk about that a little bit and where that kind of rationale came from.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I really believe here at a school this size to keep young men involved in football, number one, you got to win. But number two, you got to have a culture of practice that they want to be a part of. And three, you got to involve them in the game somehow. So having a spread attack, even though it's a simple one, that you can demonstrate to them, hey, we can get you the ball in multiple ways. We will put it in the air. If we're good enough at it and it's there, we'll do it. And I'm not afraid to do that. I actually deep down prefer a spread style approach. But like last year's team with some of the athletes we had, we were under center running flex bone. And I said, this is what we're going to do first. And as long as we're doing this, we'll keep the spread stuff going. And, that they bought in, and we kept going. We kept both going all year. And like game one of the playoffs against Turner County, we had been mostly spread the few weeks coming into that. But, we lost our starting fullback that night to an ankle injury, and we were just kind of thin at a couple other spots. We just lined up under center and crammed the ball down their throat for a couple quarters to kind of get the game over with and get us and moved on. But it's only because we had practiced it. So to do that here with guys having to learn both sides of the ball, you can't do as much in those two styles of offensive approach, but you do it as long as you limit what they have to practice. So we make sure the schemes marry up, and then we make sure we practice everything we're going to do every week. And if we can't practice it, we just cut it out. It just doesn't. It just gets removed from what we're trying to do. But we make sure whatever the two styles we're going to use are, we practice them every day, every week, and the kids can't execute that as long as you don't put too much on them. And like I said, it keeps a lot of guys involved, and they know they're going to be busy at practice. And they know that we'll do it in the games. If it presents itself and we're executing it well, we'll do it. Run, pass, it doesn't matter to me.
Certainly, Coach. And then one more position, or not position, but one more side of the ball I want to look at is kind of defensively. I know you look very good at linebacker. You mentioned just two guys, but just give me an overall perspective and kind of how you look defensively, the trenches, kind of on the back end. How does everything look for you guys going into next year defensively?
Yeah, we're losing a couple. Like Elijah started at corner, and then we're losing our starting free safety who was a senior. But I really think that the defensive back spot will be fine. I think we probably got 7 or 8 guys that I feel like can play back there on Friday night and do what we asked them to do. Linebacker, we got a couple young ones that practiced well last year and played well in JV that I think can step up. We're graduating 1 senior linebacker. And I feel good about the options to replace him. We had a kid that moved in last year, and is getting caught up on credits and is going to be eligible, and he's got a chance to fill in another one of those roles. We lost both of our outside linebackers, and I think we got a couple guys there I know can play, and again, it's just kind of dependent on depth. The area we got to get caught up on the fastest will be the defensive line. We played a lot of seniors there, but we did do a good job last year playing a bunch of guys. I think we probably started like 12 different guys on the defensive line, and that was based on injury sometimes, it was based on performance sometimes, but then we also rotated a lot. I mean, we played 8 or more defensive linemen in every game that we played because if they're capable, we want to get them in the game, and then also it's building depth for the future. So we got some really good young linemen coming back, sophomores and juniors that are going to be, kind of people don't know who they are now, but they're going to play really well this season. So Coach Siegler, our defensive coordinator, did a great job with game planning and rotating and having a plan for how we're going to rotate those guys. So, we got some youth we got to get going there, but I think we'll be good on defense again. I really do.
No doubt, Coach. And then just talk to me a little bit about your staff, Coach. Obviously, there's no one man that gets a team to have success. One of the greatest team sports ever is football. So tell me about some guys you've been leaning on, on the coaching staff, offensively, defensively, that's really helped put this team together as a whole.
That's right. Well, our staff this year is going to look a bit different, but some guys from last year's staff that really were key contributors is obviously the defensive coordinator first, David Siegler. I coached him at Swainsboro, and I was able to get him hired on last year to take the place of our defensive coordinator that was retiring. And Coach Siegler's a young guy. I think he's 25, maybe 26. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but really good young defensive coordinator, coaches the linebackers. The next one that played a key role in what we were doing last year was our offensive line coach, Kenny Owens. He played at Warner Robins back in the day and has been coaching here at Portal for a while, and just does a really good job building relationships with the kids and holding them accountable, and anchored that offensive line position, which was huge. And Coach Ron Flott, who is now retired completely, he helped out in secondary. He's coached in Georgia and in Bullitt County for a long time. And Bo did a great job with our outside linebackers. And then it has a couple young coaches who are going to be good one day and are continuing to get better. Cortavius Ford helped out with the defensive line, and Jackson Bussey helped out as an offensive skill guy. And like I said, it was really good staff to work with. Enjoy working with them, and you're exactly right. Head coach does not do it all by himself. It does take a good staff, and I'm really appreciative of the staff I had this past season.
No doubt, Coach. And then you said it was a few new ones coming in. Who are some new kind of position coaches that's going to be helping you out this year?
Yeah, well, some of them are waiting. We're in the kind of hiring process still, so I can't really name any names. But I have, there's going to be just some new faces on the staff. And I'm excited about what I think we're going to be able to get in the building.
No doubt, Coach. And then a couple more. I'll let you get out of here, Coach. Just tell me what's kind of the spring plans. I checked you guys' X account, Twitter account, but I didn't see really anything as far as the spring. But kind of how does that look for you guys? You guys, be having some practices. You guys be having a game. How does that look for you?
Yeah, the last couple of years we had two scrimmages, so we could not have an actual spring practice. We could only do the 4-on-1 and then the conditioning stuff after school. We only have one scrimmage this year, and we are doing our best to have a few days of spring practice. But the issue right now for us is, number one, athletes in multiple sports. What can we actually get done until track is over, baseball, soccer. We got some playing all of it. So we're going to try to have a few days of a spring practice in May. It probably won't be what most teams think of in a traditional spring practice, but it's just going to be a few days for us to get out there and get some stuff installed and get some looks at some guys going into the summer. Those dates are not finalized yet because I'm having to wait and see when those athletes are done and when the coaches that I need to be out there to help me can actually be out there. So that's, some of those small school problems. And we got to find a way around them, and we will. Just that some of that stuff is not set in stone yet. We are going to have some type of spring practice, no spring game, and then that'll set us up going into the summer.
No doubt, Coach. And then, far as the schedule kind of looks, Coach, far as the schedule for this season, what kind of, gets your eye? Looks like you put another really good schedule together for your group to kind of test them and get them right when you go into that region schedule. But what stands out to you as far as the schedule this season?
Game one, was against Bullock Academy in the Art Russell Classic. That was an opportunity that we could not pass up. We got to play in a couple of years ago, but getting to play in Paulson Stadium, under the lights on a Friday night where the Georgia Southern Eagles run out, is going to be Academy is a good football team. I think they were 11-1 last year, so both teams will get tested right out the gate. And then the region schedule, we rematched with Jenkins County, first region game. I believe that's September the 6th, so it's a rematch of the region championship in game 3. And, a lot will be on the line in that one, like it always is. They're a rival that's just right up the road, and they're very well coached football team with a bunch of good football players. Coach Charlie Waters and his staff do a great job. So that's a key. And then some of the other, key matchups that you look forward to is like Metter coming back down in our region. So we'll get to play them again, which will be a good test. We look forward to that opportunity. Bryan County has been moved down to the region. We've played them the last couple of years non-region, and every game comes right down to the wire. And obviously, they're a very good football team. Coach Gerard Freeman and his staff, they, state semifinals this past year. Almost got in that championship game. So those are definitely big opportunities. And then, of course, the old region rivals that you always have with the ECI, who's always good, Coach Kearson, and then McIntosh County Academy. Scranton County is down in our region again. Coach Duncan and his staff are always, have those guys coached up. So, I mean, it's really going to be a good region, I think, as far as top to bottom. I think there'll be a couple teams in our region that don't get into playoffs that would probably find their way in a lot of regions. But, that's the case all around the state now with the deeper regions that since the classifications have been reduced. But, we've got a good schedule, a good tough schedule. We like it. We like our home and away split this year, and we're just looking forward to getting going.
No doubt, Coach. And then two more. One, I just want to go back to summer. I know you're still working out your spring schedule and everything like that. But far as summer, how is summers usually at Portal, Coach? Do you guys usually do a lot of 7-on-7s? Do you guys go to a lot of college camps? Kind of how does the summer look at Portal this year?
Yeah, well, June for us, and I'm pretty sure this is very common to get with schools our size. June for us is always hit and miss with the multi-sport athletes because of baseball and basketball going in June, and I completely encourage that. I don't want them having to choose, so I'm as flexible as I can be with the other coaches here and then the athletes, and I actually give them credit. We try to keep track of who attends every day and reward those guys, and if they miss one of our workouts to go play a basketball or a baseball game, I just give them credit for that because I don't want them having to choose, and I don't want to punish a kid because he's trying to get better in some other capacity. Now, my first summer here, summer attendance was it was awful. There's no other way to say it. I mean, there would be days I'd be driving home and my wife would want to know how many we had. I'd be, well, we had 12 here today. And I said, but don't worry, we'll be fine. We just got to teach them how it's supposed to be. So this past summer, we were over 30 almost every day, and over 30 middle schoolers almost every day. So it took a couple summers to kind of establish what winning football is supposed to look like over in the summers. But I think we're there now. A bunch of kids are excited and talking about getting football going. As far as what we do, we don't do a lot of 7-on-7s in June, again, because we got so many athletes that are doing other things. It's hard to do that and know we'll be missing some of our key guys. We are going to do one for sure in June at Georgia Southern this year. We're signed up for that. And then we do have a padded OTA in July this year for the first time. We have not done that in the past, but with us only having one scrimmage, I felt like that we could get by with that as long as it was done the right way. So we're going to go over and work with Johnson County and a couple other schools. And I know that Don Norton is, the same thought process as I am with the small school and make sure athletes don't get injured. So we're going to go and work with them and make sure we're teaching and fixing problems and not turn into a slugfest at a padded OTA in July. So that's kind of for sure. That's what we're doing this summer. And we may squeeze in a couple more, 7-on-7 or throwing days here and there if we can.
No doubt. And final question, Coach, let you get out of here. Just kind of what are your goals? What are some things you want to accomplish for 2024? You can obviously, put it as a perimeter goal, like, achieve a certain stuff. But what are some goals also you want for your team off the field as well?
Well, one of the first things that I'm going to use that we stole from, I stole from Coach Mike Coe down at Coffee where I used to work is we're going to start with the helmet stickers this year. We have not done that. I've never really liked them for performances on Friday night because I feel like that turns into an individual thing where you're only rewarding the guys who play the best and it kind of distracts from the team. But we are going to move towards some helmet stickers for things accomplished in the building, whether that be academic success or an act of kindness or responsibility or something that a teacher sees and notifies me or another coach, and then we're going to start rewarding that as a way to build up our guys and give them an opportunity to earn helmet stickers. Maybe those that don't get to play a lot or play at all, but they can still stack some stickers on their helmet on Friday night so people up in the stands know that they're doing well as a student athlete here in multiple capacities. And then we will start going with the helmet stickers for wins. There'll be no stickers for individual success on Friday nights, but the wins, the team, everybody will get one. And the only other way you can get one is doing right in the building. And so kind of just be better student athletes all around, is obviously always a goal. And then as far as football season, we just want to get in the playoffs. We want kind of be the expectation here. We know regional championships are hard to come by, and you got to have some breaks, and you got to be lucky, and you got to be good. All those things have to kind of line up to be a region champ, and we'll always chase that, but we want kind of the down seasons to be a 3 or a 4 seed or in the playoff conversation and not fall back into the 1-9, 2-8, or 0-10 seasons like I had my first year here. And so kind of just good, tough, physical football every year, playoff contention every year, and try to be in the mix for a region championship while also being good overall student athletes.
No doubt, Coach. I want to tell you, too, I love that idea of the helmet stickers, Coach. I think that's going to definitely resonate well with your group, and love that you guys are highlighting the players, not just what they do on the field, but off the field. And, man, like you said, making a community impact. That's very, very powerful, and you're teaching them good lessons that they can take with them, Coach, even if they decide to play on the next level or they don't. It's always things that are going to kind of stick with them.
Yes, sir. That's always the goal, is to make some type of lasting impact and, help them. Like you say, football and adversity, a lot of people say it builds it. A lot of people say it reveals it. I tend to be in the one that reveals it. So some of the things we can do is help them understand how they will respond when things are not going their way and help them build on that. So that's what we're going to try to do. And like you said, help them be better men and fathers, husbands, uncles, whatever that may be looking like going down the road.
No doubt. Well, Coach, I want to say thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate getting to get to know you a little bit and knowing about kind of your group. And good luck next season in 2024, Coach. And appreciate all that you do and what you're doing for these kids.
And thanks so much for having us on. And thanks for what you do covering high school sports here in Georgia. And just keep up the good work, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So there goes Portal head coach. I think he's doing a great job down there with his group and his team, and just wanted to give him a little bit of shine. I feel like sometimes we don't always get to highlight the Class A Division I, Class A Division II schools, and I think he's doing a great job. Again, got to catch up with him when we was down in Rome for the Georgia League Classic, and he really resonated with me. Just kind of his approach and kind of just really talking up his guys. So really appreciate him coming on and sharing a little bit about his group. But we're going to take another quick short break. Thank our sponsors. Be back on the other side for more action.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation. Unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at GeorgiaConstructionCareers.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. So we are going to head to our second segment of the show, talk a little bit about spring sports, and then we'll get into football, the nitty-gritty about that, and then we'll do some tail of the tapes for the final part of this segment. So let's go ahead and start. Got to give a special shout out to Craig. If you guys are not subscribed or watching, or my bad, reading his blog for track and field on AJC, go check it out, man. Hey, it's only 99 cents for 3 months. Hey, you cannot beat that deal. Does a great job just talking about what's going on in the sport. Obviously, I revealed about the new things that are coming to All-American system, but there's one guy that is just tearing it up right now on the track and field for the Marist boys. Spring break, he had a really great showing. And basically, he broke a 14-year state record in the 4x1600 relay, clocking a 17:19:45 time with his team. The previous mark was set by Brookwood, 17:20:26 time. And on the War Eagles relay team that were able to break this outstanding record was Ian Gaffney, Andrew Strickland, Liam Henneman, and Tommy Latham. So they broke it. And then Gaffney's split was 4:24:30. Strickland clocked a 4:20:97. Henneman finished with a 4:21:26 split. And the guy that brought it home was Tommy Latham himself, closing out the state record with a blazing 4:12:88 time. The record-setting performance took place at the famous Arcadia Invitational in California. Latham followed it up on Saturday, just 24 hours, by breaking the state record for 3,200 meters. So yes, let's put that in context. So he broke the 4x1600 relay mark with the time, the blazing 4:12:88 overall with his team, and followed that up and broke another record in the 3,200 meters that very next day. He just received the Gatorade Cross Country Player of the Year this past January, clocked an 8:46:88 time, and edged the national field that saw a whopping 37 runners finish under the 9-minute threshold. So in doing so, Latham became the first Georgia high schooler to ever break the 8:48 mark. So as you guys can see, just setting records, doing great things. In his split in the first 4 laps was 4:25, put him exactly on pace to match the previous state record. Picked up the pace over the final 4 laps, closing the split to 4:21 to lower the record by just under 4 seconds. The Marist boys accomplished the second state record in a relay event this season after Druid Hills girls did it last month. So go get the full kind of tidbit about that. I thought that was a super cool blog, obviously from Craig, and I think he does a good job covering our sport with track and field. So special shout out to him, and I appreciate him for telling me this before I came on. Something I wanted to talk about. So Marist, Tommy Latham, you guys go check him out. He's doing great things. The junior has one more year next year. I'm sure he's going to set some records again next year as well, and also to close out this track season, which unfortunately is coming kind of to an end. It's not too much left. Obviously, I don't know what it is, Craig. I tell them this all the time, but it feels like spring sports just go by so fast. Like, we got the soccer playoffs, which we'll talk about next week. Lacrosse has about 2 weeks left. Baseball, I think, is about a week and a half, 2 weeks left, and then playoffs, and that's it. It's crazy to think about. It really is. But we'll keep it rolling. We'll go to some baseball, some standout performances from this week. Some hitters that really got it done on the pitch, or on the mound, I should say. So Grant Hollier of River Ridge, he hit a grand slam this week. Then got walked twice and went over North Cobb. Sean Green of Blessed Trinity had a really outstanding performance. Walk-off home run in the 9th inning to defeat Houston, Tennessee. Blessed Trinity's 19th win on the season. Vance Minetti of Roswell went 3 for 3 in a win over Collins Hill. Then you have Bubba Coleman of Cherokee Bluff. He hit a go-ahead 2-run homer in the 9th inning to sweep the series over North Hall. Will Ems of Alatoona went 3 for 3 in a win over Creekview. Finished with 2 doubles, 2 runs, and 4 RBIs. Adrian Jimenez from Parkview went 2 for 2 with a triple and 2 RBIs and a win over Archer. And last but not least, he's always on this list, Cade Brown of Parkview. Showed tremendous power all season. Didn't stop in that with a win over Archer with 2 hits, a double, and a home run as well. And then I wanted to give also a special shout out. I seen some news on Parkview, but their pitcher. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Did see it kind of scouring through X. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, so their junior, Porter Berryman, he just received his 100 strikeout last night in their win. So special shout out to him. The junior has now well over 100 strikeouts. They played up against Archer, so special shout out to them. I know they are very high in the poll. Before we move on from baseball, let me see. And actually, our baseball rankings actually just dropped. So go to scoreatl.com. Obviously, you guys know that Parkview continues to lead at number 1, followed by Lowndes, North Gwinnett, Brookwood, and Walton. But go to scoreatl.com for the full baseball rankings that are out now as well. But all right, we'll continue rolling through it. We got to talk about one more thing in baseball, and that's the top via SB Live Georgia. So it looks like my thing is taking forever to load. Okay, here we go. Finally pulled up. All right, so top performances from this week. Obviously had Conrad Kaysen of Great Atlantic Christian. He came in a relief role and was fantastic in the 2 innings of work. He struck out 5 of 6 batters, didn't allow a single hit, and also had an RBI double. Peach County's Jackson Peavy. He had 2 wins this past week, 12 innings pitched, no runs allowed, and 33 strikeouts. Then you had Marshall Jackson of Brookwood, who was perfect in 6.1 innings, didn't allow a single hit or a run, and struck out 9 batters. Caleb Hughes of Etowah was also lights out, threw 77 pitches with 61 strikes and 9 strikeouts. Then you have Leighton Sanford of Pepperell. He picked up his 6th win on the season after going 4 shutout innings, only allowing 1 hit and striking out 7 batters. And last but not least, Hunter Barrow of Westside Augusta. In the last 2 innings, he went 5 shutout innings in both. And in the first game against Lane, he had 11 strikeouts. In the second game against Josie, he had 13, a season high in strikeouts. So that's the latest on baseball. That's my thoughts on it. And that is the top performances thus far. But all right, we'll keep rolling. Talk just a little bit about lacrosse. Some top performances from this week. You have Tyler Hadema of East Forsyth. He had a really good week this week. Scored 6 goals and assisted on another in a blowout win over Lanier. And he had Gavin Young of McIntosh. He was a key component in the win over Bremen. Finished with 3 goals and 5 assists in that win. All right, so we'll keep it rolling. All right, let's see. Let's keep it rolling. All right, we'll go to top matchup of the week this week in lacrosse. So, as you guys all know, big one. North Paulding is going to play Walton. Kind of been previewing it a little bit. North Paulding remains undefeated. They're one of my top teams. But Walton can definitely move up in the rankings. If you guys have not seen, I did drop lacrosse rankings yesterday. But they are neck and neck with each other at the top. But North Paulding is like the only undefeated team right now, basically in the state. And they've been doing their thing. And then Walton is number 4 in my poll. I have Lambert at 2 after, just what they were able to do with their quality wins, a couple of weeks ago. But big time, matchup between those 2 teams. Can't wait to see who kind of comes out on top in this one. Wolfpack looks to stay undefeated and lock in the number 1 seed for the playoffs. North Paulding's offense is scoring 14.6 goals per game, while holding teams to only 2.8, an 11.8 goal differential, which is one of the best in the state. Walton comes in scoring 13.2 goals, holding opponents to 4.5 goals per game, about an 8.7 goal differential. Both programs loaded with NCAA talent and great senior leadership. And like I said, it's going to come down to, kind of which offense can continue to roll. Both are very, very good, and which defense is going to be the best on Thursday night. So top matchup with both teams. Definitely going to have a big stake in what happens in the rankings next week as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. All right, so we'll keep rolling. We'll go to the next sport, soccer. Let's talk about a couple top performances. Emmanuel Miraz of Putnam County scored 9 goals in his past 2 games, about 4.5 goals he's averaging. Also had 1 assist over Josie as well, and then he did it again with 5 goals and a win over Butler. So he has been doing his thing and dominating on the pitch so far. And you have Liam Duvey of Johns Creek in the 4-1 win over Roswell. Duvey scored 3 of the team's 4 goals. The next game he scored 4 goals and had an assist as well over Eichen. So he's been doing his thing there as well. And then last but not least, we got some tennis news that we'll talk about real quick. Buford boys tennis defeats Mill Creek for a Region 8 7A title, tournament title for them. Big win on the tennis side of things. Let's see if we get a little detail on it. So the Wolves claimed the region championship with a 3-0 victory, though they got challenged more than they did in the 5-0 win over Mill Creek during the regular season. They were able to come out on top. The coach said, "I'm super proud of them. Mill Creek is a really tough team. It's the second time we faced them this year, and they definitely made us earn it. Both teams have a ton of talent, and I'm super proud of the way they came out here and took care of business." Buford took an early 1-0 lead in the finals when Seth Davison defeated Mill Creek's Liam Rabadou 6-1, 6-0 at number 2 singles, and then through his match started later. Wolves' Miles Carbis went to a 6-0, 6-0 win at number 3 singles over Brett Wilson. So the number 1 singles match, the only match that wasn't a straight set Buford won in, was Mill Creek's Chris Jen. He led Miller Trout 7-5, 4-2 when the match was clinched. And the regular season, Trout defeated Jen 6-7, 6-4, 6-2. So outstanding for them. 3-0 win, obviously, and they get the region championship. Go to Gwinnett Daily Post for the latest on that. Wanted to give them a special shout out on the show. All right, so now we'll jump to football. Quick news before we do our film breakdowns and then conclude with my top 10 headlines for the weekend. Travis Smith Jr. officially has set his official visits for basically the summer. As you guys don't know, Travis Smith's one of the best receivers in the state, right? You throw him in there, you throw C.J. Wiley, Devin Carter as some top names, but officially he has it set at Georgia on May 31st, Auburn June 7th, June 14th, he has Alabama, and then June 21st, he's going to have Tennessee. And if you guys didn't know, Travis Smith actually has announced his top 8 schools a little bit earlier, but it looks like those are the top ones right now. He's going to take officials there to go see those programs in those schools. So it will definitely be interesting. A lot of people are pegging him towards Georgia, but still very early in the process. And I think what's going to be interesting too is this weekend, which we'll talk about. Where is he going to actually spend his time for the spring game? A lot of teams are having their spring games now, finding out a little bit more about their teams. So where will he just kind of spend his time will be very, very intriguing to see. But those are his official visits: Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, and Tennessee, before he ends up making a decision. All right, so now, guys, it is time for a couple film breakdowns. We're going to be looking at North Cobb's defensive lineman, Beedjy Guerrier. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing, butchering your name. But we're going to talk about him, and then we'll talk about Brunswick's Aviyon Addison. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the tape. All right, so as you can see right here, right in the middle of the defense, good job right there, chasing down the play. He's right there in the middle. Kind of hard to see, but right there, it is good, active, aggressive. Good job breaking it down. And here you're going to see a little bit of the versatility. So he plays defensive tackle a little bit and outside. So look at him just break through right there, cause a big-time PBU. We instant replayed it, but I love his quick first step. Boom, 1-2, get through the line right there, and then affect the quarterback as he goes through his throwing motion and turn it into an incomplete pass, potentially even maybe a fumble right there. So great job there. And then here it is again, the versatility right there in the middle of the defense. Does a good job. It's 3 guys right there, so he waits. Then the quarterback tries to break out of the pocket. He does a good job closing that down and not letting them to escape. Then here it is again. Good versatility right there again. Craig, I'm going to have you roll that one more time. But just look at the quick first step. I mean, he's not wasting any time. He's going through it pretty quickly. But right here, boom. So offensive line's going to go up. Look at him just do a quick 1-2. Gets through him. Big-time TFL right there, disrupting the play. And then right here, on the outside, gets through the double team right there, chases the quarterback. Good job stepping up with his teammates, getting a big time sack right there. Then here he is right in the middle over the center. And then just look at the effort. I'm going to have you roll that one more time too, Craig. Look at the effort that he shows on that play. So he doesn't get there initially, but look at Beedjy right here. Get through. The running back still running, and look at him go chase him down. Now allow him to get to the outside. Excellent job right there. And the same thing right here. Look at him come. Have Craig re-roll this one again. So, you guys, look, he's in the middle of the field, right? Look at him go chase down this play again. So, boom, here it is. Quarterback's getting this out quick. Reading the defense. Look at Beedjy all on the other side of the field. Come running down this speedster right here. Boom. There's the big hit. Wraps him up well. Good job. Good job limiting that to only a 4-yard gain. And then right here, same thing. Just a good job getting to the outside, making a big play. And here he is on edge. Again, big time right there. So I had to instant replay it. It went so fast. But look at this. So he's matched up against the left tackle. They're going to make a move, fake like he's going outside, go inside, and then get a big TFL. Boom. Right there. Big time effort right there. And then wraps him up. Big time coming off the edge right there. And here he is again. It's a good move on the inside and forces a fumble, right? Being effective, being disruptive. Same thing, just getting off the blocks fast, and then good job right there containing and not letting them go anywhere. And then here he is right here. Look at him chase down this play with his effort. Boom, big hit right there. Now allow the running back to get to the outside. Love it. The same thing right here. Just, you know, if you're not going to block him, it's a problem. Look at him chase down the quarterback. I mean, the first step is elite, guys. Look at it again. Boom, 1-2. Look at him get off. Good job right there, wrapping up the ball carrier yet again. And then here he is matched up again. Excuse me, double team, but doesn't give up on the play. And look at that. I'm gonna have you go back on that one, Craig, if you can. So let's break this one down too. All right, so boom. So we got two guys coming up in his face. He could have just gave up on the play, right here. He's double teamed, right? But look at him, the relentless pursuit. Okay, let me go over on this side. This quarterback's trying to escape. Let me go run him down and lay a big hit on him. I mean, you can't teach that. That's a want to. Same thing right here. Throws it to the tight end. Look at him come right here. Big time tackle coming over. And then right here, just right place, right time. And showing a little bit of the athleticism, right? Picking it up, turning into a nice 10, 15, 20-plus yard gain right there. And then back at defensive tackle right there. Just making the quarterback step up. And then I'm going to have Craig look at this one more time. We obviously instant replayed it. So right here, guys, I mean, it shows you the potential that he has. He is double teamed, right? Two guys are in him, the right guard, the right tackle. He splits the double, comes in, and gets a nice shoestring tackle against the quarterback. Watch it right here. Break the double team right there. See the quarterback, get a nice tackle, get him at his ankles. Good job right there for him. Same thing right here in the middle. Good job coming in, wrapping up the ball carrier. And then here he is again on the edge. Look at him chase this play down again. Excellent. And then boom, same thing right here. Relentless effort, helping his teammates get to the outside. And then boom, running back try to get out to the edge. Here he comes. Big time tackle on the outside. Just running plays down. And then boom, right here, good play in the middle. Quarterback tries to escape. Another great tackle right there yet again. And here he is on the edge. Boom, let him get past. And then good job just kind of coming down with the big time hit. So as you guys can see with the tape, obviously, the first step is great. I think can play multiple positions throughout the tape. He's playing defensive tackle. He's playing nose guard. He's playing defensive end. And he's being effective. He's being disruptive. And there's not for him, and there's not like a effort problem, right? He is, you know, getting double teamed, not getting frustrated, splitting them double, coming up, making a big play. Or he's, you know, seeing that, okay, it's three linemen here. Let me find a way to evade these guys and get to the quarterback and make a big play for my defense. And then you also see the potential that he has with the forced fumbles that he was doing, the big plays, punching out the ball, the big-time hits. And with him, what I really like, too, you don't have to worry about tackling. Sometimes you have really dominant edges. They struggle in the run game, or they struggle wrapping up a ball carrier or tackling. He can lay a big hit, and he also can wrap up the ball carrier and, you know, can be very, very disruptive. So I like all that. And I think great effort, and I think he's going to continue to be extremely effective. And I like what North Cobb is doing, and defensive coordinator P.J. Hughes is using them all over the field. So then when you throw this tape to college coaches, you can say, okay, well, what can he not do, right? You may say, oh, well, he's not the biggest guy. So what? Well, we've seen a potential future Hall of Famer and Aaron Donald not be the biggest guy, and look at the effect and impact he had on the game. You know, I get the same thing with Beedjy there, just having an effect on the game, and that is what he's doing. He's relentless in his pursuit. He's breaking these double teams. He's making big plays, bunch of TFLs, and I think he's going to be even more disruptive, next season. He doesn't have the gaudy numbers, but when you want effort and you want a guy that can be a potential valuable piece in your program, look no other than him. So that's my thoughts on him, and that is his tape. Y'all go give him a follow also as well on Twitter. All of that will be linked below. We got one more player that we want to look at, and that's Brunswick defensive back Aviyon Addison. Love is like the offense here is trying to really trick you, but he just does a good job of not getting fooled. So the instant replay is about to come right now. So look at this. I'll have you pause it, Craig. So sometimes you'll get an offense tries to be cute, and they try to like throw different things at you. So this play is like a motion. It's so much going on, right? There's a motion. There's a pick set in this play. There's just so much going on, but he just does a good job of not getting fooled at all. But watch this right here. Look at this motion. And look at this rub route that's going to kind of happen here. So, boom, there he is here. Boom, you guys can see it, right? That's the rub route. Thank you, Craig, for pausing that. So, here usually, if you watch the NFL, and I know Craig knows this very well watching his Chiefs, they run a lot of the same kind of action. A lot of times, DB gets fooled, and they're done for. They're going to go all the way inside, and it's going to leave that guy open. But look at him right here, not get fooled. He's still going to get bumped, but look at him fight over it, turn his head, get in the way of the receiver right here, and just absolutely play the ball. The ball's not the best thrown, but he does a good job with so much going on of staying packed and knowing his assignment and not getting fooled at all. And then right here, you're going to see just the big hit ability on the outside. 101 prevents a touchdown right here. Nice job right there, wrapping them up, not letting them score. And then here he is, 101. Have you pause it, Craig. Two high safeties, as you guys can see right here. He's off about 7 to 8 yards off the line of scrimmage. 101. Watch this play right here. So, boom, there he is right there. Look on the outer boundary, guys. It's going to be 1-on-1. Right? Look at him play the ball. Go get it. Love that. Toe drag his feet and get a big-time interception. Love that right there. And then right here, love this is a double move. They're going to get back into the fray and cause an incompletion right there. Excellent. And again, have you pause that, Craig. So he's 1-on-1 right here. The receiver's going to try to run an inside route right here. Look at him adjust to the football and cause a deflection. On the island by himself. No help. Boom. Great job right there. Getting it in there and slapping it away. Here he is again. 1-on-1 on the island. Boom. Look at him come up. Another big-time PBU yet again. So that's why I wanted to do this. So a lot of times, guys, you'll see guys play this off coverage like this. They don't have the speed to come up and still make a PBU or a pass deflection. Look at him come up. There should be a catch. Look at him come up, dislodge the football. Perfect, exquisite timing, and cause the PBU. And same thing right here on the island. Look at him try to come inside. Same thing. This great timing yet again, dislodge the football. And then boom, here he is right here. Good job just playing the ball yet again. Incomplete pass. Excellent right there. And then here he is now. The question is, can he play press? Right here, bigger receiver, playing press, right? Goes to his zone. And then here, right here, you're going to see the move by the receiver. Does a good job turning his head and making it an incomplete pass. So that's excellent form, excellent coverage right there. And then boom, here he is right here on the opposite side of the field. Inside in the sideline of the quarterback, causing a deflection. Same thing here. Right place, right time. Dislodge the football a little bit behind, but still, good job right there playing the football. And then I'm going to have Craig actually redo this one. Now, the only problem with this one is, like, how have you pause it, Craig? The cameraman does not help him here because this would have been a great play to put on your tape. Why? I'm going to tell you guys why. This is going to be a press 1-on-1 on the island, and this receiver is going to do a double move. He doesn't get fooled, does a good job getting in the sideline, and causes the incomplete pass. If this would have been better camera work, this would have been a great highlight for his film. Watch this right here, though. Boom, here's a double move. Look at him stay, press, turn his head around. Does a good job. Incomplete pass. Unfortunately, you can't see it, but you guys see nonetheless what he's able to do right there. And same thing right here, just playing the ball, seeing it early. Quarterback tries to get out quick. There's a PBU. And then boom, same thing right here. Just, great time. Not a great ball, but he's coming up every single time when he's playing off. So just watch the footwork, watch the speed. Boom, he's coming out quick. It's a good job right there. Big time hit right there. Nearly dislodges the football again. And then same thing, 1-on-1 on the island. Here it is right here. Now watch the forced fumble. Oh, I mean, roll that one more time for me, Craig, if you don't mind. So same thing right here, and this is where a kind of quarterback kind of separates himself, right? Sometimes you're not going to always get there for the PBU. Sometimes the guy's going to catch the ball. It's hard being on the island, y'all. He's on the island again, but the receiver's going to get the catch. But look at him go, and this is where cornerbacks can separate themselves from college coaches. Look at him be a disruptor of the football, punch at the ball, and get a nice forced fumble, get the ball back to his team. Boom. Bigger guy, I'm going to punch at the football, cause a forced fumble. Excellent right there. And then right here, this play is just effort. Okay, this is against Marist. Look how far ahead far ahead the team is. They're gonna run this play down. Again, that's effort. That's a want to. You can't coach that. And then right here, one-on-one on the island, he makes the first defender miss. Look at him come up. Good job right there, getting it square his feet. Good time tackle, one-on-one with no help. And the same thing right here. Can he be a guy that can, tackle bigger ball carriers? Yes. There he is right there. His teammates help him out, finish it out. He contains the edge right there. Does a great job doing that. And then right here he is on special teams. Now watch this. This is going to open up. Look at him close it down fast. Good job right there, making the tackle before it can turn into a big play. And then this final one is right place, right time. You're going to see him get a fumble recovery. Kind of come in and be effective. Boom. Dive in, get a nice fumble recovery right there. So, I mean, you guys can see it with this tape. I thought it was very impressive. Obviously, that is a condensed version. His full tape was 8 minutes. That's about 4.5 minutes of tape. But you see everything, right? You see, can he play zone? Yes, he can play zone. Does he get fooled by, the offense being cute, throwing different things? No. And I think he can answer that question. Sometimes you see DBs get torched in that situation. Go look at the first highlight of his tape with the rub route that the offense is trying to run in the motion, right? They're trying to fool you and get you out of the play, right? Try to set up an easy touchdown. Doesn't get fooled, knows what the offense is doing, and makes up a big play right there and gets it into an interception. So, one, he stole a possession, and then two, he gets the ball back to his team and not allow any points. So that's excellent right there. That first play tells it all right there. And I love, too, some of those plays in the highlights you see that receivers are trying to work double moves on him. Corners, if you are doing a huddle tape, it doesn't always happen, but if you can include offensive players that, one, are taller, bigger than you, and you're still effective, that looks good for college coaches. If you also can show that teams are running double moves on you, as you see throughout that tape, that does a lot for you because then it shows that you're not getting fooled, you know your assignment, and you're staying packed. So it means that, you are a very knowledgeable player, one, and two, you're going to watch your film. All things college coaches look for. He has all it on his tape. He's very good one-on-one, as you can see, in the red zone by himself, no help, on the island, causing PBUs and deflections. His great ball skills, can track the ball very, very well, and he can deflect it at a high level. And I think his timing, the timing that he's able to get in there and be able to dislodge the football at the right time and cause the PBU is next level. I mean, every single time he's playing way off 7-8 yards, and he's able to get there right at the right time and dislodge the football, cause a PBU. And then he showed the other thing that corners got to have. Can you tackle? Can you tackle bigger running backs? Can you come in and lay a hit and contain the edge? You can see that there. And then if the receiver does unfortunately catch the football, can you make a play on the ball? Can you cause a forced fumble? Yes, he can. So he checks a lot of boxes. Again, people might not be wild by his size, but he obviously shows the effort, the heart to want to play the sport, play the DB position, and he's very good at dislodging the football and playing one-on-one on the island. So that's my thoughts. Appreciate you guys sending the tape in. I have more Georgia players I'm going to do. I got more other players I'm going to do from other states as well, so y'all stay tuned for that. But that's my thoughts on both guys. We're going to take one more quick short break, thank our sponsors, and conclude with the top 10 headlines for the weekend.
What you doing?
Hey, just finishing this claim to get Dave back on the road.
Nice. I wonder what Dave's doing.
You do your thing. We've got you covered.
Hey, is the power off on this?
I don't know. Just take it off.
Safety violation, unsafe work conditions.
In the construction trades unions, safety is our highest priority, and we train you to recognize and speak out on unsafe working conditions so that everyone arrives and goes home safely. Learn about careers in construction at georgiaconstructioncareers.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. So to conclude the show, start with my top 10 headlines for the weekend, and let's go ahead and get it started at number 1. The Heart of Georgia Classic is going to be this weekend. As you guys all know, the Hype South, they have a really great classic. If you're out there in the Macon area, April 13th through the 14th in Macon, Georgia, for the 4th grade through 8th grade boys. Great way to just to be able to get, to get that exposure from on the radar hoops and be able to get some good training, go up against some of the top talent that you're going to probably be playing on the next level when you get to high school. So they're putting together a great classic there. Guys definitely should go check it out. Let's see if I can get a time update on it. Let's see. No time update, but basically how it's going to work. So a big weekend on tap in Macon, Georgia, the Heart of Georgia Classic powered by Hype South Media and On the Radar Hoops. Champions will be crowned in Middle Georgia. The schedule is now live on the Radar Hoops, so you guys can go there and get the full schedule of kids that are going to play. And I think it's a great event. I think On the Radar Hoops, Sean Williams, and his group do a really good job of exposing these kids in Georgia, especially now that it's kind of AAU basketball and it's basically spring summer basketball now. So you guys go check that out. One of the biggest events, definitely this weekend as well. And then at number 2, Grayson picked up a huge region win against Discovery. This is in boys soccer, so Grayson was ranked as number 5. Discovery is ranked as number 2. In a big time game between those two, Discovery was having again, great year, 14-2-1. Saw a 10-game winning streak end, and they suffered their first loss since February 15th at Mountain View. Grayson improves to 13-3 after pulling out a match that was tied 3-3 after regulation. So this game went into overtime. Both teams went back and forth. Emmanuel Amidi, he got Grayson out to a 2-0 lead, hitting a left-footed shot. And then Discovery, London Sebastian Hedges' header got him kind of back into the game as well. And then 3 minutes later, Monza Musama was able to score in his 3rd goal of the season, the 31-25-minute mark. And let's see. And if in terms of how it went in overtime, let's see. So basically, the coach Dugan for Grayson said we've relied heavily on our seniors. We had 2 seniors score and penalty kicks. Ahmed got 2 goals during the game. We relied on them, and they really stood up for us today. Dugan did praise, the clutch play of one non-senior, Mulick, who was responsible for the game, clutching saves in the extra period. He said, Danny is superb. He is, and I don't say that lightly, is certainly the best keeper we've had here in a decade or more. He's instinctive, brave, agile, all the things you want in a goalkeeper. All in all, I'm proud of all of them. These boys are awesome. So they wrapped up their region title in a really entertaining matchup between them and Discovery, and it will be the 1 seed come playoff time. So special shout out to them. Go to Gwinnett Daily Post for the full rundown on that. Now we got some breaking news that was here earlier today at 10 a.m. I'm sure Craig is going to have an interesting thing to say about this, but we have a player that is moving on from Milton. So let's see if we can go ahead and pull it up. So officially, that is DJ Rump 2027 class, played in our Georgia League Classic event in Rome in December. It says, this is my announcement. This wasn't easy. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope in the future. So guys can go to his Instagram to get the full outlook on that. But as DJ Rump, he is no longer at Milton. He announced it today via his Instagram/Twitter. He is actually moving on to California. So it's been a busy month for DJ, to be honest with y'all. He got baptized in April as well. He picked up his first Division I offer from USC. So I thought that was interesting as well. He just picked that up maybe a couple of days ago. So I don't know if that had anything to kind of do with his, obviously, him moving. But the rumor is that he's moving to California. He's going to play for one of the powerhouses that are out there, and he's looking forward to the opportunity. So, yeah, that was breaking today, as you guys can see, at 10:22 a.m. So we're obviously breaking it on the show. He was a lot of fun to watch. I thought, obviously him, Christian Pancake Hunter, I thought Milton had a great 2027 class coming up. And I was excited to see what he was going to do for the team this year. But obviously they're going to have other guys step up on the edge. But yeah, he's moving on to California. I think it's really interesting when you think about it, especially with a lot of resources here in Georgia. And I told a parent too, I was like, obviously California is great. But when you look at kind of, I won't even say development, because I think the development, you can get developed anywhere. But I think when you look at kind of the landscape, California is not the same as it used to be. There's still great guys there, still great talent. He can still get developed because Rupp is just great himself. And there's great teams and powerhouses out there. St. John Bosco, obviously got Mater Day, all those great teams. But when we look at kind of how much they value and how big it is here in Georgia, it is a very interesting move, to say the least. Obviously, we had rumors this summer about Juju potentially moving out to California. Didn't happen. But I think it's an interesting move, to say the least. And I'm going to throw it to you, Craig. What's your quick reaction?
I think there was a lot of depth on that line at Milton. He was changing to a defensive lineman. He did see some playing time, but I feel like he wants to be an underclassman that plays a bigger role.
I think Craig nailed it on the head. I don't know if you guys heard it, but he said I think he's an underclassman that wants to play in a bigger role and get more playing time. And I think Craig's 100% right. When you have the depth that Milton has and you have all the great talent, sometimes you can get kind of behind a guy and not play until your junior year. And some parents do not, I don't want to say parents, but some players do not want to do that. Some players want to play now and they want to be able to kind of get out there, because then when junior year comes, you already know this known prospect. It becomes easier. You can start, kind of narrowing down where you want to go. So I 100% agree with Craig. I think he nailed it on the head of him saying him wanting to have a bigger role his sophomore season. So that's that. That's our reaction, and that's my thoughts. That was big news this morning, and we're interested to see his story and what he's able to do. But shout out to him, and good luck. It was a pleasure covering you, DJ, and good luck the rest of the way. All right, number 4, we'll move to obviously one of the big ones. Max had the story, so you guys go to scoretl.com. But Isaiah Collier, former #1 player in the country, former Wheeler guard, 3-time state champion, is moving on. He's going to go play in the NBA. He's declared for the NBA draft. He averaged 16.3 points this past season and 49% shooting from the field. Outstanding guard, obviously, for them. It's always that tough kind of thing. Obviously, he's a projected lottery pick. Showed some flashes, obviously, some couple things you have to work on with the, obviously free throw shooting and things like that. But I think it's interesting to see, kind of how it's going to go. I think with these guys and these elite guys, this is what I will say about the 2024 draft. This is one of the weaker drafts. I will say that. So if you are going to go, this is probably the year to go. You can go very, very early. You can get that max, kind of rookie contract deal and things like that. And then I think what Collier's going to depend on where can he go get developed. Obviously, he's going to still be working on his jumper, finishing around the rim and things like that, and continue to add to his game. But if he's going to be an effective player on the NBA, got to be a better free throw shooter. Already he's great at, going to the rim and things like that. And I think his vision is phenomenal. But obviously, when you play for NBA, it's another level. And sometimes, you can get stuck, whether that's playing in the G League or being a backup guy. So I think it's going to be important, the team that takes him, how much can they develop him, coaching staff, the developmental coaches, developing him so he can be one of those prime players, because we see it all the time. And I think for Isaiah, he's just going to have to be patient. I think he's a phenomenal talent. I definitely think he's an NBA type of talent, but he's going to have to be patient. And I'll throw one more comparison to you guys. You look at kind of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You look at a De'Aaron Fox, right? Those guys had to wait so long, not just to develop, but just to be able to get the shine that they wanted to get. Like this year, Shai Gilgeous is a potential perennial MVP candidate. But look how long he had to wait. He got drafted by the Clippers, right? Waited like years and years and years, like 3-4 years. Then got traded to OKC. Finally, they kind of basically, centered the franchise around him. And then now he's starting to kind of flourish. And I think Shai Gilgeous might be in year 5, year 6. Same with De'Aaron Fox, right? Struggled for so many years. People were like, do you trade De'Aaron? Do you trade De'Aaron? And then he just stayed the course, continued to get better, and we saw that light kind of come out last year in the playoffs when he played against Golden State and how elite he was. But he finally was able to get on that stage because he had a coach in Mike Brown that came over. So I think it's going to be very important for Isaiah, and the reason I bring him up is because it took them years. I think it's going to be important for Isaiah to stay patient. Obviously, I know he has a great work ethic. He's going to keep grinding, but continue to stay patient and be ready when the opportunity presents itself, because it will come, but you just got to be ready to kind of seize it. So that's my thoughts there. We'll leave it there. Number 5, first round of soccer playoffs, as we mentioned, is set to begin April 16th through the 17th. Teams to watch: Lambert, Johns Creek, Dalton, Calhoun, Johnson, Gainesville, Savannah Country Day, and Jeff Davis on the boys' side. So as I was telling a little bit earlier, it's crazy to believe soccer playoffs are already here, and that the season is coming to a close. But that's actually going to begin next week. So keep it locked for all the coverage and then go to scoreatl.com for all the latest rankings. Number 6, Gwinnett County. They had their senior all-star basketball games that took place yesterday. A lot of teams that participated in the event at Grayson High School: Archer, Berkmar, Brookwood, Buford, Central Gwinnett, Collins Hill, Decula, Discovery, Duluth, GAC, Grayson, Hebron Christian, Lanier, Meadow Creek, Mill Creek, Mountain View, Norcross, North Gwinnett, Parkview, Peachtree Ridge, Providence Christian, Seginger, Shiloh, South Gwinnett, and Wesleyan. So they had their 15th annual senior all-star game. And I think that was super cool, and I like that some of these coaches now are doing this, kind of giving the seniors a little last hoorah, being able to pull on the jersey for one final time before they move on to the next stage of their career. So I thought that was super cool, and obviously some great Gwinnett County teams this year. Wesleyan on the girls' side, Hebron Christian winning their state championship and winning the national title. Grayson winning the national title and competing in the national circuit. So that is always, always great to see. And then number 7 had a big-time commitment from Alatoona and La Crosse. My goal is to try to do a story on it. I'm trying to find some more details out about Braden Smith. I know he's a phenomenal player, All-American, but he officially committed to Georgia Tech, 2024 guy. But I'm trying to do a story on him. I think he's been doing some great things for Alatoona. Alatoona is obviously as high as number 4 right now in the 5A, 6A poll for me. Well, the wins they rattled off, beating Blessed Trinity and continuing to kind of stay afloat and catching fire at the right time. But wanted to give him a shout. He's a special striker for them, a special attacker, and he's been having a phenomenal year, to say the least, for them. Number 8, Dutchtown officially announced their spring schedule, and they are going to play and going to start. Let's see. So their practice starts May 2nd, less than a month from now. They're going to have practices all the way up until May 15th. So May 2nd, May 3rd, May 6th, May 7th, May 8th, May 9th, May 10th, May 13th, May 14th, and then the walkthrough on the 15th. And the spring game is kind of very interesting for me. The spring game, they're actually going to play Sandy Creek. So I think that's going to be an intriguing game at Dutchtown High School, May 17th at 7 p.m. Both teams are loaded with talent, and both teams are obviously looking to make some noise this year. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see. And there's a player for Dutchtown that I'm really interested to see how he kind of grows and develops. He's been getting a lot of buzz, and I'm going to see if I can find that name. It's their quarterback. See if I can find it. Hold on one sec, guys. Okay. So that name, and I think it's a name I'm going to try to pay a little bit more attention to, and that is Michael Johnson. Plays for Dutchtown. Looks like he's probably going to eventually be their starter. Has a busy schedule coming up for himself as well. He's going to look like he's going to participate in the Rivals Camp here in Atlanta next weekend. He has visits and camps set up. West Virginia visit on April 22nd. Elite 11 camp also got invited to the regionals, which will be at Gainesville, April 28th. Georgia Tech camp, May 30th. Clemson camp on June 4th. Louisville camp on June 9th, and then LSU camp on June 13th. So he's been kind of blowing up as well. Just see if we can find some of his offers so far. Let me see. All right, hold on. I'm going to look him up real quick. All right, so he's only rated right now, guys, on 3. They have him ranked as high as number 154 nationally, the number 11 quarterback, and number 19 in Georgia, according to their system in 2026. And again, it has a bevy of offers so far. He has UAB, Troy, Georgia Southern, USF, UCF, Mississippi State, West Virginia, Cincinnati, and UMass. So it's going to be a player I'm going to watch. Stands at about 6'1", 165. And has been doing some great things so far, and definitely is going to continue to get noticed. So that game is going to be one to watch for. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of media there. Sandy Creek, Dutchtown, May 17th for this spring game. So I think that's interesting as well. And then number 9, we talked about it obviously here in the office, but TJ Wilcox transfers to Buford. That was announced a couple days ago from Collins Hill. And I think it's going to be interesting. I don't think I've talked about it on air, but what I will say is, I think that opens up, obviously, the gates for A.J. Bush now for Collins Hill to potentially be their starter, or if they decide to call up a young guy to kind of compete with him, or if they bring anybody else in. But I think it's interesting for Buford, them landing TJ Wilcox. I think it's a situation where obviously he's very good, but I think, with Buford, usually they like to have a lot of depth at the QB room. They like to have a really loaded group. And I think it's going to be the same thing. Last year, they obviously brought in Christian Langford, and then they brought in Dylan Raiola all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. So I think it's going to be the same thing. I think they're going to bring in maybe one more guy. I could be wrong. Obviously, this is just me inferring. This is just me. This is just my thought process. But I think they're going to bring in another guy to kind of compete for that role. And that's been the biggest question. Who is going to be Buford's, starting quarterback? Who's going to come in and kind of replace Dylan Raiola this upcoming season with a very, very talented group yet again in 2024, 2025. So I think it's an interesting move. Be interesting to see who's going to be that day one starter for Buford, though. And they have a very tough schedule. So we are going to find out. Obviously, I'm sure they'll be participating in a lot of camps, some 7-on-7, some practices. I'm sure they're going to have a spring game again this year. So it's going to be really interesting to see and the team to follow. All right, to conclude us off, number 10. Big weekends for the in-state programs. You look at Georgia, Georgia State, and Georgia Tech. Georgia State is actually going to have their spring game tomorrow. A lot of kids are going to be on campus. I just seen that Javin Parker of East Paulding is set to be there. And obviously they have a new slogan, and it's called #NewAtlanta. So Del McGee's trying to come in there and, really set his mark on that program and really get them into, that kind of that contention conversation. And now with the larger playoff, those Group 5 teams have opportunities to be able to get in, especially if they can, have either one loss or go undefeated, and they can actually win a conference championship. More likely for you to get into the college football playoff now as well with the expansion. So Georgia State's having theirs tomorrow. Georgia Tech is going to have theirs on Saturday, and then UGA will be having their G Day on Saturday as well. And a lot of kids supposed to be on campus. Justice Terry, Christian Gase of Eastside supposed to be there, so a lot of kids supposed to be on campus for Georgia. A lot of Georgia players are expected to be on all three of those campuses this weekend, so a big weekend in Atlanta, a lot of visits and a lot of things like that. But that's all I got for today. I appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode of Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilkins. Happy Friday Eve, and before we conclude, who you got tomorrow, Craig?
Second-year so far.
All right, so Craig's going to have second-year coach. Me and him, actually, if you guys want to go back and watch it, for our media day last year, me and Craig interviewed the second-year coach as well. And as you guys can see, second year is having a lot of success in different sports as well. So I'm sure that'll be a great conversation he has with them with their new group coming in. But that's all I got, guys. Happy Friday Eve, and enjoy your weekend.